guys, how are you? I just wanted to bring you some analysis of racing really quick from the Forza Racing Championship Season 3 finals. And I just thought that these videos were interesting enough to warrant their own video. Anyways, we're gonna analyze basically the best of the best people that I actually competed with, and obviously they beat me by a lot. And anyways, this is from Le Mans, like on June, when we were all there. Anyways, let's play this video. It's just 3 videos and I'm gonna comment and tell you exactly what's going on. And then you let me know what you think. Anyways, here's the first one and we'll come back to it.
One opportunity left, and that's this last chicane. What can he do?
He's looking for the opportunity. I just don't think Lightning's going to give it to him at this point. He goes on the outside, though. Can he find it? Can he find it? He finds it, and Roadrunner is going to get that second position. I can't believe it. Right at the end, and Lightning gave it up. He was holding it so wonderfully, but he couldn't maintain it. That is inspired driving from Roadrunner.
Well, anyways, that would be the video. And it's just basically a simple pass from, well, not simple, it's actually a very nice pass by AMS Roadrunner. Roadrunner, as you guys know, he ended up winning the whole thing. And nobody even saw this coming. Everybody thought that it was between Leitch and Lightning, but no, Roadrunner literally, like, killed ass. Like, there's no other way of saying it. It was amazing, especially this pass. This pass is actually pretty complex. But not to take anything away from Roadrunner, but believe it or not, this is actually more a pass that Lightning ended up allowing Roadrunner to do, because he failed at defending, and not only that, but he even missed the second apex in the left turn from the chicane. Anyway, so let's analyze it here. Right now, Roadrunner is in the slipstream for from Lightning, and he's just going to catch up. Like, there's no going around this. However, he's far ahead enough so that he can not only defend the inside line, but he can also break at his own point. Meanwhile, Roadrunner may have to break a little bit earlier, simply because it still has that pull from the car in front of him, so he's going to be going faster into a corner.
He's got one opportunity left, and that's this last chicane.
So right here, it's just pretty much your standard defense. Lightning is just constantly watching where Roadrunner might attempt to attack, and he's just watching his line. He went in the middle, and look, that's pretty well, but he's gonna commit a severe mistake once we approach the actual turn, and you're gonna see it. Well, or at least I'll try to point it out to you. But in the meantime, I just want to point out that Roadrunner actually has done here something amazing, and he's aligned himself to take even a wider approach into the apex by aligning himself with the curb over here.
What can he do?
So right there, you see, as soon as the curve started, he was already over that. Right there, like, it's very easy to see, but he's making the track wider than it should be, while still being within the limits of racing, and that allows him to have a better approach into a turn. Now Lightning, because he's the defending car, of course he has to take a more narrower entry into the turn, but at the same time it's just standard. So right here we're still seeing just something normal, although Roadrunner is actually taking advantage a little bit of the situation in a good way. So he's doing exactly what he needs to do if he wants to attempt to pass through an up and under or something like that, even though this is a chicane. So right here, you see this? Lightning, by mistake, I'm pretty sure this was just a mistake, he ended up doing his turn entry way sooner than he should have. He could have kept Roadrunner away from the turn even longer, but instead he decided to, I don't know why, he just went inside to start taking the apex, even though, like, this is going to mean that he's going to lose a lot of time just because he's taken so long. Or, well, because he has to go slower there, anyways. But Roadrunner is still keeping it fine.
For the opportunity.
And right there, that's just standard up and under. And Lightning had lost a lot of time because of that early apex that he took. So right now, he's not even set up for the second left-hander. Meanwhile, Roadrunner is just going to once again stay in the outside. That's the good thing for Lightning. But here's where the biggest mistake of this sequence of events happens, and that is Lightning once again takes this apex even earlier than he should have, and he ends up cutting the second apex. He literally ended up cutting the track, and that allowed Roadrunner to carry a little bit more momentum on the outside, and also it allowed Roadrunner to get the better exit because the track gets wider here. So yeah, let me just play right now, and you're gonna see what I'm talking about. So right here, Lightning literally just cut the track right there. But let me go a little bit back right here. If Lightning wanted to, he could have even pushed away Roadrunner, because Roadrunner is so close to the actual apex. Like there's no space for the second car right there. And of course, Roadrunner was able to take advantage of that because he saw that Lightning was cutting the track itself. So he had more track to actually put down the power and everything. And besides, there's a little bump within the inner curb right here for Lightning, and that means that Lightning is going to be slow to put down the power, not only because he cut the track and he has a sharper turn, but also because of that bump. It's going to take away from him, and that's exactly what we see. Now Roadrunner had an amazing exit right here, once again extended the track to the curb in the outside, and that basically just meant that he had more power, and like he was able to do what he needed to do, which was the pass in the last lap. And that's basically it. It's very straightforward. Nothing too special after that. But Lightning was lamenting that loss right there in this last lap, because that was Lightning's position, but through a series of mistakes that I don't know what was going on through his mind, but like they're so simple, and yet there were such big mistakes in here. Now let me go back a little bit and tell you what Lightning could have done here to prevent Roadrunner from actually like getting along his side. Right here, when he takes the early apex, he could have stayed even closer to the actual turn. Why? Because that would have not allowed Roadrunner to actually get the run that he got in the outside. Now that technique, if Lightning had stayed in the inside of this turn, that is actually known as lingering, and it basically prevents the car behind you from accelerating once they're this close. So the car behind you basically has to go at your same speed, and you basically just block them with a legal move. So you are actually within the rules and regulations of any motorsport if you linger, because it's up to the other driver to actually find where the position where to pass. And besides, you're not moving erratically along the track. You're literally just holding a line. It's an unconventional line to follow while racing, but it's still a good line. And right here, I mean, it was like halfway lost, so nothing too much to. Anyways, let's go to the next one. So it's this one in the Nürburgring in the rain, and this one is more chaotic, so not too much to do with racecraft, but at least we can analyze it and see exactly what happened. So let me play it in totality, and then we're gonna discuss it.
And here you go. I mean, you can see the tires pick up and all that, just all that water just spread around them. It's insane. Get a little collision though off the start, and this is exactly what you would expect to see here, as things are getting a little hot and heavy to kick things off. But Roadrunner's going to be able to take that first place. Lightning's going to be in fourth now, and this is where things get very interesting, because with Roadrunner in the pole position, this is Lage right in front of him, trying to challenge it. Lightning, though, coming in the corner. Lage is going to be in third place, but he's looking to establish himself going into the right here. Roadrunner, though, he is in first place, Ali. I can't believe it.
This is playing so nicely into Roadrunner's hands at the moment.
Alright, by the way, before I start with the analysis, I just want to point out something really cool. Now, when we were over there at Le Mans, some of us noticed that some of the Xbox ones were actually weird looking, something that we had not seen before. And even there was some kind of menu that was like even weird once you went into the dashboard of the console in some of the consoles. And it didn't even look like the developer version that most developers have. This looked like an in-house for Microsoft console that like gets special access to other stuff. But why am I discussing this? Because I want you to notice this. At the top, there is a Forza Race Championship Season 3 ticker. Now, this cannot be done unless you're actually within developer mode of, or a developer version of the game, straight up from Forza. So I'm pretty confident that not only were we using modified versions of Forza 6 during the tournament, because this is simply impossible as everybody has seen. Like once you go to spectate a race, like it doesn't let you like enter like custom text. This is custom text right here. But that's not only it. I'm pretty sure that at least some of us were playing in Xbox One X. They were probably just testing it, and they decided to test it there. And in fact, there were even some issues with frame rate issues. We're not sure if it was the monitors or the consoles themselves, but we had problems in the early stages of the championship. And now more than ever, I'm convinced that we actually got to play in Xbox One X before the release in November, so back in June. Simply because of this text. I mean, like, not only was the console like weird looking, well, not weird looking, more like different looking than a regular Xbox One, but it also, I mean, I hadn't noticed that they had this sticker before, so I think the evidence just keeps on mounting up, which is cool. And I mean, it ended up working at the end of the at the end of the tournament, at the end of the day. But those problems could have maybe been resolved if they didn't attempt to test that while we were there. Anyways, let's get to the analysis. So right here, the first turn in Nürburgring and in the rain, that means everybody's going to crash. So you can see Chris already approaching Roadrunner at full speed. Like he's braking way too late, and he's gonna end up crashing a little bit into Roadrunner, pushing him wide. So this is exactly what we're gonna see next. And I think Lage is leading by now. And we see Lightning in fourth right there, kind of like the yellow-ish looking car. So there we go. He ended up being hit, and here's where everybody is right now. Or actually, right here you can see it. So Roadrunner ends up being first right here, Chris second. Lage went wide because Roadrunner ended up pushing him wide after Chris ended up crashing onto him a little bit. But I mean, it's nothing big. Well, I guess for Lage it was a little bit.
A little hot and heavy to kick things off, but Roadrunner's going to be able to take that first place. Lightning's going to be in fourth now, and this is where...
So this is where it gets interesting. This is, I believe, Lightning following behind Roadrunner. And in the outside, or actually, I'm not sure if it is Lage or Roadrunner, to be honest. Never mind. This is Lage, I believe, that we're following in the one car, and in the inside right here is Lightning. Now, Lightning has the apex right here, and he's basically almost past Lage at this moment.
Lage right in front of him, trying to challenge it. Lightning, though, coming in the corner. Lage...
But, and right here is when you realize it, Lightning didn't put down the power well enough to actually be able to stay in the outside for the next turn. And that means that Lage is going to have a chance to once again take it away from him and keep second. Now, Roadrunner is gone basically. Like he's already like way too far ahead of them to be even bothered by their fight.
He's going to be in third place, but he's looking to establish himself going into the...
And right here, because this turn is off camber, you lose traction once you're in the outside. So Lightning is going to have more difficulty like putting down the power in this turn, and that allowed just Lage to keep second place here.
Roadrunner, though, he is in first place.
And we see it perfectly right there, the difference in power.
So nicely into Roadrunner's hands at the moment.
And now let's go to a final one. That one was just interesting because of the crashes, I think, but nothing too bad. I mean, it wasn't like Chris was ramming anybody or anything like that. That's not it. Let's go to this one. Okay, so let's watch it in totality, and then I'll comment again.
Look at the way Lage is, he's creeping around, right? He's creeping outside. He's, at this point now, it's not necessarily about getting the draft, it's just about forcing Roadrunner into a mistake. You can see, he's like, he's looking for it. Look at the way that he's maneuvering on the outside. He wants him to take that risk and move in a very, uncharismatic way. But here we go, Lage, he's gonna go into it, and he manages to make it happen. I cannot believe it. The French Superman has found himself in first place for Roadrunner. Let's not forget about him quite yet, though. He's right there, but never mind. Lage has forgotten about him as he has now secured himself the first position. Unfreaking believable. That is... Look at the way Lage...
Alright, so let's go into analyzing this. This is basically a great example of the up and under in any racing category. So I'm gonna tell you exactly how what is it, Lage pulled it off, and what Roadrunner may have done wrong, and what Roadrunner could have done to prevent Lage from overtaking him in that spot. Now, at the end of the video, well, at the end of the pass, Lage kind of forced the issue and made a Roadrunner go off the track a little bit. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's just racing, and these guys were running for like very high stakes, like $25,000, I think it was, something like that, for first place. And anyway, let's analyze it. So right here, Roadrunner is already defending the inside, and that's why we see Lage catch up to him so much. In fact, he bumps him right there. You can hear it. And Roadrunner is once again defending here in the chicanes. And right here, you can see Lage setting up already the up and under. Now Roadrunner cuts a little bit the track. I mean, it's nothing too significant, anyways. He's just defending. Like this is just normal racing, basically. So he cut it, but slightly. Like at the end of the day, that doesn't matter at all. Now you already see Lage was in the outside, and now technically he's in the inside of the previous turn. But remember, this is a chicane, so Lage is once again in the outside here. And Roadrunner, because he took such a shallow entry there, he's also going slower into the second part of the chicane. So right there, you can already see Lage going into the inside part, while Roadrunner, if he wants to keep on having like a little bit of acceleration, he needs to go into the outside and have the greatest exit he can. But since he had that early entry, he's going to be very slow on the exit, while Lage is already carrying more speed, and he can stay within the inside. And remember, this is a long right-hander after this second part of the chicane, so that gives the advantage to Lage because he can stay in the inside. And right here is basically where I can easily tell you this is the mistake that Roadrunner made, and that's he allowed Lage to go in the inside. Now once again, what Roadrunner could have done is, he was already slow here, he could have let Lage go around him, and he would have and he should have kept being a little bit slower than he was already here. Why? Because that would have allowed him to just linger within this inside line for the turn, and that means that Lage cannot execute the up and under, and he has to stay in the outside over here, meaning he's gonna be slower while that long right-hander like keeps on happening. So that would have allowed Roadrunner to probably keep that first place. So let's keep on going. So Lage is already in the inside here. Basically, the position is undefendable right here. Now, the thing that I didn't like is that Lage forced a little bit wide Roadrunner. Good thing that there's tarmac in the outside there too, so technically Roadrunner just needed to keep on going outside anyways, and he could still race. However, he did push Roadrunner at the end of the day out of the track. I mean, yeah, like I understand why he did it anyways, and Roadrunner was smart enough not to brake, but instead he decided to just go and run wide and then re-enter the track after.
I cannot believe it. The French Superman has
So anyways, both of them are right there.
Let's not forget about him.
Now, if Roadrunner really wanted to, he could have forced the issue, and he could have kept his car in the outside by entering this turn a little bit faster, but that could have ended up in an accident. So he did the smart thing at the end of the day, because this is a high speed right turn. And right there you can just see how Roadrunner let him pass, and that was it basically. After this, Lage ended up in front.
He has now secured himself the first position. Unfreaking believable.
And that's basically it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if you have still some questions about this. This was some great racing at the end of the day, and yeah, these guys deserve the positions that they got. I mean, they were great. And there was one more where Lage basically turned around Roadrunner in one of the must lane straights. Yeah, well, I think it was right after the first chicane that by accident, I'm pretty sure it was by accident, Lage ended up tagging Roadrunner in the side, and that made Roadrunner spin coming out of the first must lane chicane, I think. And Roadrunner ended up losing some positions, but Lage ended up in first. But I mean, it's not important. Like that one was just a straight up spin, a straight up accident. I think Lage might have even gotten penalized for that. I'm not sure if it was even Lage, to tell you the truth. I just remember Roadrunner ended up spinning. It wasn't the prototype cars. But yeah, anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think, and I'll try to give you some more insight in what these guys could have done to defend their positions and everything. Now, if you really wanted to, I could also provide feedback onto your own recording of your racing. So just send it to me and I'll tell you exactly what you could have improved to and what you could have done different. Anyways, I hope you liked the video. See you next time, guys.